Hi, this is Matt with Inmate Search Info. Today we're going to be looking at how to find Washington inmates. The Washington Department of Corrections offers a searchable database of a few different kinds: inmate search, warrant search, and wanted for arrest. We'll start with the inmate search and then take a look at some of the other ones as well. So the first page that we get taken to, as is often the case with state inmate searches, is a disclaimer page, which basically tells us what we can and can't do with the information. The most important thing to note is that they don't guarantee accuracy. They want to make sure they're not going to get themselves in trouble, so they're disclaiming and saying, we try our best to maintain this information, make it sure it's accurate, but if you use this information, do so with the knowledge that it may not be 100% accurate. They're not responsible for misusing it. Examples of how you might misuse this information would be for things like housing, employment, or credit decisions. And those are kinds of decisions that you would make based on very particular types of background checks. There are special types of background checks called FCIA compliant background checks. And though this information is directly from a state source, you don't want to misuse this information for those kinds of decisions. So be careful. Consult a legal professional, make sure you're doing the right thing. You don't want to get yourself in trouble unintentionally. And probably more obviously, you don't want to use this information for any harassment or threatening purpose. That's something that's usually illegal itself. And specifically, misusing this information for that purpose is often governed by law, and you could get yourself into some trouble. Find yourself on these pages if you do that, so please don't. So we'll start with this inmate search after we've obviously read through and accepted those terms. And one interesting thing that Washington does that I have not seen elsewhere is that they kind of give you a list right off the bat. So they've got it sorted by this Department of Corrections number from the lowest DOC number on up. So obviously the older the number, the longer the person has been in there. So this fella, 103 years old. So that's a bit unusual. You are able to do searches by name, and that's basically it. If you happen to have that DOC number, you can put that in and get taken directly to the person. Otherwise, you'll have to search by name. Some states allow you to narrow it down a little bit more by age and other things, but Washington keeps it simple. They don't have a huge inmate population. This doesn't have historical information. These are people who are just currently incarcerated, so it is a little bit of a smaller database than some other states. So if you're looking for someone that doesn't happen to be currently incarcerated, maybe was previously, you're probably not going to find them in the results. That's where something like a general background check might be helpful, and that's something we can help you with at Inmate Search Info. If you take a look at our page for Washington in the description, we can help you with that if you're just trying to locate someone that may not be in prison any longer, or if you're not sure if they even are in prison. So let's pop in a name here and see what kind of search results we get, and then we'll take a look at some of the other searches. Okay, so I've gone ahead and popped a name in here, and then we're going to hit search, first name and last name. And you can search by just one or the other as well, or with no search, you get all the results as we were on a moment ago. So this is our list of Michael Smiths. They helpfully add in the middle initial for you. Obviously not terribly helpful if they happen to have the same middle one, but you do have this age range, and hopefully you can narrow down who it is. Now, one thing that Washington doesn't do that some states do seemingly is they don't give you alias returns. So if you know someone by a name other than their legal name or their given name, then you may not have any success with this kind of search. Again, that's something where a background check might make the connection, and this kind of search is not going to. So some states do have the ability to kind of cross-reference aliases. Washington doesn't go that deep. So this is literally it though. So there is no like profile to look at, no pictures to look at. So if you're not 100% sure if you've got the right person, like maybe you're not sure if it could be, any of these three guys that are all around the same age, you're going to be, stuck a little bit if you don't happen to know their middle initial. You could, potentially using the DOC number, you might be able to figure out like roughly when they would have been locked up. Like you could go back to kind of that general search that kind of gave the ranges. I'm not sure. Obviously the lower DOC number means they were locked away less recently, if that makes sense. So there are a couple clues there, but not too much to go on. You are able to click on the actual facility. So if you click through to the facility, not every state does this, so it is nice they at least do this for you. You are able to see, a picture, some directions, some information, historical information typically, and then the visitation process if you'd like to do that. And that's, again, something useful. But again, not a whole lot to go on here. More helpfully, though, if we pop over to the warrant search, let's take a look at that one. So going through the same disclaimer again, and basically, again, they give you the full list. This is in warrant date order, so, more recent to less recent warrant dates. And you are able to do the same kind of search. You can also search by a specific crime if you're interested in that, so they do let you narrow that down, and by county as well. So this would obviously be for someone that's out in the public. So this is something that might be of interest to you if you're curious about someone, or, just want to have a little more information, or just, generally curious about what's going on in Washington. The information here does include, because obviously this is kind of more of a pressing, active, they want the public's help matter. They do give you a photo, and they do give you the crime and a description as well. So you are able to kind of, find out a little more about the person, and you can maybe make an identification a little more easily. So, if you want to browse through that, or if, like I say, you are searching for someone specifically, that might be of help to you as well. They do include a DOC number search, assuming that someone has priors, they're in the system, then, that could be a way you could do it as well. But the name is probably going to be of greatest interest to you. Again, they don't give you the aliases. I feel like that's kind of a missed, we'll say, opportunity, because a lot of folks do go by more than one name or have a nickname or something like that. Now, let's see if we can go to this wanted for arrest search. So they do give you a couple different ways that you can look for these folks that are wanted. There's the Secretary's warrant search, there's the Washington State Patrol's most wanted, and then you have specific county most wanted, which are maintained by different sheriff's offices. So looking at sort of the most wanted here, this is not a searchable database. This is just sort of a list of photos, and if you click on one, you get taken to kind of a mini profile and, describing the crime involved as well. So this is the most descriptive of all of the types of things that are available through the DOC. Now, one other thing that you are able to supposedly do in Washington that I have not had any success doing is a criminal history kind of search or service. Now, because I clicked on this link about half an hour ago, it's not loading, so either it's something to do with me or it's something to do with the access to that. But in any case, as we get more information on that, we will include it on our Washington page at Inmate Search Info. So that pretty much covers the Washington Inmate Search. Obviously, they do offer a few other types of searches. There are some additional ones as well that we have a resource for on our page, so be sure to check that out. We also have other helpful tips, step-by-step instructions on what we looked at today, as well as the link directly to this page, so be sure to check that out. Hope that's been helpful. Thanks so much for watching.